it's everything we expected. Round one, Sydney Derby, Bank West, so it's a great occasion. I think both teams have really put on a good spectacle so far. And yeah, look, I think from our perspective, we just need to settle the game down a little bit, get our foot on the ball and start to play our kind of football. And I'm expecting a bit of a different second half now, especially towards that later 20 minutes in this half.
Dean, 3 quick-fire ones. An update on Lena Karmas, Georgia Yeoman-Dale status, and how do you get your team to feed Copus Brown more? My pet topic this game, she's looked really dangerous when she's had possession.
Yeah, look, Libby's a good player. She'll always make good forward runs, and you're right, we need to get our midfield on the ball, and we've spoken about that, all the things we worked on during this pre-season, and they know what they need to do to get themselves on the ball. And Lena Karmas, she's a warrior, we all know that. She's literally playing with one eye. You know, we're the ones that have to take her off. She still didn't want to come off, so it's just the type of player she is, and, you know, hopefully she's going to be okay.
And just finally, Dean, any changes tactically for this second half?
Yeah, yes and no. Trying to do more of what we planned pre-game, so hopefully we see a bit more of what we worked on during the week.
Lovely, Dean. Thanks so much for the chat, and good luck for the second half.
Thank you.
I think he's taking your advice on board, Harp. Sounds like Copus Brown definitely features in his plan as the Wanderers charge forward. Julianne Russell looking for her first touch.
Yeah, well, it's great that he can call on someone with the experience and quality of Russell, but it's a double blow to lose 2 of your experienced players in a team that's generally very young. So Karmas had to be forced off the field listening to Dean talk, which again is no surprise. And Georgia Yeoman-Dale, big comeback for her. I thought she showed moments of great power in that first half. And so it's a lessened Wanderers team by both their absences. And the introduction of Julianne Russell should certainly help.
Indeed, the other substitute, Isabel Gomez, midfielder who played for Football New South Wales Institute. Goes alongside the likes of Briley Henry. She's got a couple of teammates here in this side as Margot Chavot. She's forward. Gets it back just as quickly. And the Wanderers hoping to unlock the secrets to this Sydney FC side in this half. Caitlin Cooper. Now with Abini. Abini to Vine. Still with Courtney Vine. Oh, she rolled it beautifully into the path of Remy Simpson, who just didn't want to pounce.
Well, first half, the Wanderers found Courtney Vine very difficult to contain, and she's started the second half the same way. It's beautiful offering from her down the right-hand side. Sydney couldn't capitalise.
Cooper again, hopefully boots it up midfield. They need to find the head of Ellie Brush. Nice work from Abini. Hawkesby. And there's Middleton with the intercept back to Copus Brown. Stretch too far for Olivia Price. A little bit scrappy in the middle of the park right now. Isabel Gomez with her first touch. Price gets play underway again, a little bit miscued perhaps. I think too we haven't mentioned who are missing from this Wanderers side, where Libby Copus Brown really fills a gap. Harps is the likes of Cara Cooney-Cross and Denise O'Sullivan. They were so good over the dead ball, and their vision in play was, particularly with O'Sullivan, was quite extraordinary at times. Shame she was only on a guest stint.
Yeah, and also, and I'm almost embarrassed to say I can't remember the names of the players, but had two outstanding Americans last year.
Lynn Williams and Kristen Hamilton, I think, are the two you're after.
So the defender was great, although I've got to say that the youngster Chevet has actually filled that gap quite nicely. There's a long way to go before she's consistently as good as the players she's replaced, but it's been a great start.
Certainly has. Remy Simpson hoping to nip through the gap.
And Williams up front was just uncontainable. I mean, so fast was she, and that's a dynamic that they've really missed.
Absolutely, and well, Yeoman Dale hoping to get the breakthrough for the Wanderers. Back to Danica Matos. And two with Yeoman Dale just out of reach.
Yeah, a little ambitious there from Copus Brown, but very willing work from Danica Matos, Portuguese heritage.
Courtney Vine tracked back a long way for that one. As the Blues start their foray up the park once more. Dangerous ball there, and forces Wyman out of her goal. It's probably the most she's had to move in some time. Averting the danger as that ball dropped rather delectably in front of Isabel Gomez.
Yeah, just 3 or 4 things to do for Wayman so far today. Saving the team, cleaning up, and she's done them very well. 2 excellent pieces of distribution with her feet from that first half, as we'll recall. 1 out of the hands for Princess Abini and 1 off the ground, also for Princess Abini, but Princess didn't respond.
Oh, Wyman again fumbles, and it's open goal. Wanderers cannot capitalise. Foul committed.
Really? Was there? It's not the striker's fault if the goalkeeper gets themselves in knots. And if anything, to me, it looks like Jada's reached in and had a slight tug on Julianne Russell's arm.
You could see Russell's up for the battle. Multiple awards to her name. She's played overseas. Hoping she can convert some of that talent on the field here. Julianne Russell plays for, I believe it's Sydney University here. Also an account executive at Microsoft. We're talking about other things that keep players busy. We want to see in the W League just a fact of life of being a female footballer over here as Kelly Jones brings a halt to play. Courtney Nevin stumbles to her feet, and it's off on the other flank with Danica Matos. Forward for Briley Henry, and well covered by Ali Green.
Oh, it's unfortunate for Matos. That was a poor choice of pass. Up a blind alleyway. Nowhere to go for Henry.
And Price with the quick turnaround. Copus Brown spots Chevet. Promising here from the Wanderers. Middleton. Copus Brown and tries to get through 2 lots of Sydney FC shirts. To no avail, left to Caitlin Cooper to battle it out with Simpson. Well, Simpson comes off with the upper hand, still striding through. Sydney FC striker's been very busy. Assist for that first goal. Been involved in so much of the players. Hawkesby trots off on the far side. And Chevet again with the outstretched foot to avert the danger, albeit temporarily, as Teresa Polias connects. Courtney Vine. And to and fro here between the 2 sides. Nevin to Russell. Miscue only goes as far as Taylor Ray. Now Princess Abini. Abini with her Eyes forward, Polias looking for Simpson.
Well, great positional play again by Chevet. But Simpson is looking outstanding for Sydney. She had a really good first half, put on the goal for Courtney Vine, had a great chance herself. But her general play has been outstanding. She's looking a cut above today. And Polias nearly found her. She's been excellent in the Sydney engine room. The skipper, what a club stalwart. Outstanding football citizen. And will have a big career, I'd imagine, post-playing in some form or other.
Couldn't quite get a left boot behind it, but Teresa Polias, yes, the most appearances of any player. She's 4 ahead of Claire Polkinghorne of the Brisbane Roar. And what Polias has been, as you say, part of this midfield engine. Celebrated her 10th year anniversary at Sydney FC. Of course, her first 2 seasons were at the Central Coast Mariners, but only the 2nd player in that club to do it, Harps.
And you just look at that table, Steph. You know, the talk about the players that aren't available for the W League this year, and it's just the way it is. But the top 4 appearance holders over the course of the A-League are all on show in this year's W League. Thankfully, because Ellie Brush has made a return. Otherwise, the top 4 would be the top 3, but it's great to have such experience.
Certainly is, and some big names have returned. Of course, the likes of Lisa Devanna back on the pitch are going to be really exciting, and I don't think Lisa's quite done in her quest for perhaps another appearance in the green and gold. She wants to take victory to some more glory first. Nice work there from Courtney Vine.
Yeah, terrific from Courtney Vine today. She's been outstanding as well.
I've been impressed, Harps, with how relaxed a lot of these younger players, if you like, look on the ball. We mentioned the fact that it used to be a huge step up from the NPLW, and some of them look completely composed and comfortable and within their comfort zone. And Copus Brown, of course, very experienced as she charges forward to one of the newbies, Briley Henry. Tries to cut back, doesn't come off, but great evidence of how the youth and experience mix in a side.
Yeah, well, Green, good defender for Sydney. Copus Brown, that's the snippet, right? That's what she can add, and the Wanderers can find her. She showed a clean pair of heels to get away from the experience of Polias as well. But she set that attack up beautifully. Now, taking that position outside of a defensive duty so she can launch a counter-attack. Carried the ball deep into the danger territory, attracted 3 Sydney players, and then released the ball. It was a fantastic, perfect contribution. Exactly what you wanted there. Couldn't quite get on the end of the cross because Sydney defended well. Green's been outstanding, as was Courtney Vine, who gets an early shower.
Yeah, well done, Courtney Vine. Opening goal of the season, and she's been replaced by Rachel Lowe, who I mentioned earlier. Harps, she's an exciting talent, and can't wait to see what she can offer. 27 appearances already in the W League, but her first outing for Sydney FC. She's another one that's cross town. Already appeared in green and gold at the junior levels, and was at UCLA with one Tegan Micah. They played for UCLA Bruins together. So a bit of international experience as well. Good cricketer too. I think she actually went as far as sort of junior national levels with cricket and played for Gordon Cricket Club, shades of Elise Perry.
Yeah, right. Same neck of the woods as well. Although I'm assuming there was no cricket on scholarship offer at UCLA Bruins.
You might be safe with that one. Polias finds a beanie. Sydney FC with a shot! Princess Abini, what a finish into the top corner, and Sydney FC 2 goals to the good. Well, that was a brilliant finish from Abini. Looked up, saw the opportunity, finished it off.
Well,
Great ball.
Polias spread the ball beautifully. And Abini's been dangerous all game. Skips inside Mados. And that's the finish of a queen, not a princess.
Nice.
Beautiful jink. That's top bins. It's unsavable. And the very good Courtney Newbont stretched valiantly, but couldn't deny Princess the finish. Wonderful goal from Sydney. They've scored 2 good ones here at Bankwest.
Yep, 2 belters to start the season. On the hour mark, Princess Abini putting Sydney FC ahead 2-0. Her 10th W League goal. I feel like the 10th one's been a long time coming. She's had some dry spells, if you like, but looking in fine form this season. Playing for Apia Leichhardt. Great to see her back in action. Well, Wanderers have got a pretty tough road back from here. Need some possession to make it happen as an ideal priority as Courtney Nevin trots back. Had such a cracking season last year, the Western Sydney Wanderers. I know it's apples and oranges when you look at the teams, but first time they made the finals. Really good confidence for these girls. I mentioned one of their legends who's in the dugout. Catherine Cannuli is an assistant coach here at the Wanderers. She's, I think with her last home game of the season, she scored in a Sydney derby with a penalty kick. Sydney FC looking challenging again here. Simpson can't quite find her target. Pelias connects Simpson. Timed down by Courtney Newbon, very relieved. It'll be going just wide anyway, but good reflexes from Newbon.
Well, Pelias opening the shoulders and the reaction from Simpson. Good scrambling from Newbon. Very good in the Wanderers' goal. Simpson's been the best on ground, in my opinion, so far.
Teresa Pelias to deliver from the near side, goes short. Way up in the air, could be anybody's, and it's belted away by the Wanderers. Russell trying to gain the upper hand, managed to squeeze by both Tobin and Pelias. And eventually shut down by Rachel Lowe. Managed to find Olivia Price now with Cooper. They're looking for options. Eventually opts for safety. Chevet onto the head of Ellie Brush in the Sydney backline, and Curtis Brown thought that had dropped off Pelias' head favourably, or Gomez rather. Wanderers just struggling to make any forays into that half. Wanderers have happy memories, of course. Derbies here. If you look at that stat, only one of the 8 home derbies they've had has been won. It was a cracking win, 5-0 here at this ground. Round 6 last season. Unfortunately, it's been slim pickings apart from that. And the Wanderers could be in with a chance now, looking for Gomez. It's easily dealt with by Sydney FC. Princess looks to turn quickly. Now Rachel Lowe off on a run. And Lowe to Simpson. Rolls it back for a beanie. Not quite as clinical as she might have liked, but with the ultimate effect. McLean. Brush. Tobin looks up, sees Pelias. Hawkesby. Low, that would have been neat through to Simpson, but interjection by Caitlin Cooper sends the ball back in the red and black direction. We do have a player down with cramp from the Wanderers behind play as they charge forward. Copus Brown and Polias.
I think it's Olivia Price who's struggling with cramp for the Wanderers. She and Chloe Middleton have had to cover a lot of territory in the Wanderers midfield. Copus Brown as well. I've spoken at length about that, but the impact there for all to see. Olivia Price, just over an hour into the game, and as Sydney have dominated proceedings and moved the ball around, the Wanderers midfield has been stretched and unable to contain Sydney, and therefore have had to work harder, cover more turf, taking its toll on, in this case, Olivia Price.
Yeah, getting stretched out. Another one from the Illawarra Stingrays, if you don't mind, Andy.
Well, there's enough players on show here today to justify a team.
Also a former junior and young Matilda. 3 seasons in Sky Blue, of course, before joining the Wanderers. Then she had a stint with Canberra. First season back with the Wanderers. In fact, I'm glad it's just cramp for Olivia Price. In her first stint with the Wanderers, she dislocated her left knee in the last game of the season, which had her out for some time. You know, she's a player that Heather Garriock rated quite highly. And we see a substitute being made, player coming on, Rosie Galea. And Matilda's teammate makes her way onto the pitch. And a good shift from Olivia Price and a nice start to the season. First hit out, sometimes tough. These players have been in pre-season for around the 6-week mark, I think just over 5.5 weeks. Of course, that's in keeping with their contracts. They're actually not allowed to come back earlier. I think it's probably tougher on the Melbourne sides, who maybe couldn't train as a team for a large portion of that time. Cooper avoids Simpson. Chevet. Riley Henry. And again, the attack comes undone. That seems to be about as far up the park as they're able to push it at the moment, the Wanderers. Just trying to break down that Sydney defence. Copus Brown. Gomez. Dealt with by Taylor Ray for the moment. Tobin with a big swing, didn't go too far. Retrieved by Chevet. Copus Brown. Good vision, had seen her teammate Russell in the area, didn't quite come off.
Yeah, it's just getting to that point with the Wanderers in possession. There's a...
Oh, could be on there for Gomez. It's the second time a ball's dropped favourably just in front of it. Didn't quite come off. Sorry, Andy.
That's all right. The action takes precedence always. Just a little bit of a lack of patience, chasing a 2-goal deficit, and the players sense how difficult, and to be told, the scoreboard doesn't tell everything. They know the disparity has been a bit wider than the 2 goals, and so then when you do get those moments in possession, you can tend to rush things because you think you've got half an eye on the clock, we've got to make a difference soon, and then under the pressure that Sydney apply, you rush these passes and you don't quite get what you need out of it. But at least the Wanderers at the moment have established a little bit more territory. They've got players spread and positioned nicely across the field.
Nevin with the cross. Oh, Wyman doesn't grab it, but Tobin can clean up the scraps for her. Bounced awkwardly for Simpson. Like it was a handball.
I think that's what's been awarded. might have been a case for play on there for the Wanderers, but encouraging for them is that they've caused a little bit of a flurry in the Sydney penalty area twice in the space of a minute or two. Wyman spilling her first real error of the afternoon after the ball in from Courtney Neville.
And the ball's headed away by Taylor Ray for Sydney FC, and Simpson with a further clearance. Rachel Lowe getting some close attention from Julianne Russell.
And you mentioned the Elise Perry comparisons. She also is of the same, she's an alumni of the same school on the North Shore, Kimball Ladies College. So
undoubtedly looked at Elise's career and thought, yeah, I wouldn't mind trying that.
Be surprised if there was a little bit of role modelling going on there, but two fine educational institutions have contributed to the footballer we see here, Rachel Lowe.
Courtney Nevin Gomez couldn't quite get through the Sydney FC traffic. Another attempt, Polias this time loops it over to Simpson. Simpson manages to avoid Middleton temporarily, but it's Cooper that comes away with possession.
You're looking at this Sydney team on display now and just how efficient Polias is. Really does not miss a beat. Positionally, wins most of her tackles. Her passing and decision-making is so consistent. Then you add to that midfield Claire Wheeler, who's got a very similar style of play, probably a little bit more attacking intent than Teresa. But I tell you what, that Sydney midfield is going to take on another shape altogether when Claire Wheeler joins it.
Yep, Sydney FC going to be tough to beat as they are today, 2 goals ahead with just under 20 minutes remaining. Simpson wouldn't mind making it a third, rolls it through for second goal scorer, Princess Abini. Oh, goes over the top looking for the spectacular Remy Simpson. Polias not quite through to Lowe. Who else but Copus Brown into the fray. Oh, Ali Brush says enough. We'll take that back. Abini again. Well, bit of a hit and hope, or perhaps a little bit beyond. Maybe looking for the other corner.
No, disappointing outcome. But that's a nice ball in early from Taylor Ray. The acrobatics from Remy Simpson. Wanderers couldn't break out effectively. Ellie Brush stole in and burst forward. Set another opportunity for Sydney, which Abini couldn't deliver on. Strong return to top flight football for Ellie Brush.
Yep, she's still got it. Such an experienced player, and she was so important to Canberra when they were at the peak of their powers.
Well, just the two examples, Ellie Brush and Gemma McCormick. Stints in the women's Aussie rules doesn't hurt. Right, the nature of the game brings a bit of an added ingredient that the girls then bring onto the football field, coupled, of course, with the years of having to master this particular game. And it's not a bad ingredient when you look at Ellie Brush and McCormick.
Handball called there against Taylor Ray. Yes, the whistle goes, and Tara, we're about to see a substitution. One of the players, Andy, flagged, ready to come on.
Yeah, exactly right. Alira Toby, lots of excitement around this player. We saw her in action. 4 seasons, 4 years she played in the orange for Brisbane Roar, but what a signing she is for the Sky Blues. Looking forward to seeing what she can do, and Remy Simpson jogs off the field as well, and it looks like we're about to have a substitution for the Western Sydney Wanderers as well.
Indeed we are. We have Aideen Keane coming on for the Wanderers. And I think we're seeing Briley Henry make way. Yes, correct. So Briley Henry, good outing. for her. 18 Keane on debut, another one from the Football New South Wales Institute. 7 games, 9 goals, another young Matilda, plenty of them on the park today. And Alira Toby, we'll talk more about her in just a moment. Copus Brown prepares to deliver, and it's on target, not a lot of power, and not a teammate on the other end of it. But, Harps, you're looking forward to seeing the Sydney number 9, Alira Toby. She's come back from Portugal. I think she might have actually had COVID there. I thought she might have caught it off a teammate, and of course had a less than fabulous experience over there. Was it Famalicão, is that how you say her team? They tried to terminate her contract, but ended up paying her out, but left her there with no training, and right in the middle of COVID. So she's had a challenging time, but such an exciting player, and we're glad to have her back here.
Yeah, really underdone, which is why she didn't start the game and will be eased into W League action.
Oh, Hawkesby charging forward, and Police was ready to unleash, and she's now found her teammate, which unfortunately goes straight into the arms of Courtney Newbon.
Well, the opportunity was on early. Hawkesby, again, for her part, has been outstanding for Sydney. They've had a lot of good players, but gee, the ball first on then was for Toby. And Alira then gets found by Police, the excellent midfielder again for Sydney. Not a bad first touch. It was a very traumatic time in Portugal as a young footballer going overseas to the bright lights of Europe. When a lot of the senior Matildas are doing similar things, you think, wow, now's my time. And it's not a story unique to Alira Toby. It happens to the men, the women. Things run aground. It's very, very traumatic potentially. A change of coach can change everything. That was part of the problem as well. But she's back on home turf, if not southeast Queensland, Terra Australis. And ready to go, and Ante Juric is cock-a-hoop that he's part of her squad because he believes that she can be the difference between Sydney winning the title and not. And I was on the public record when I was dead keen for Alira Toby to be included in the last Matilda squad for the World Cup as a generation next Matilda. I think she's got a lot to play for. As soon as she can get rid of the negativity of the Portugal experience and get going again, I think everyone in women's football will be better for it.
Indeed, good to have her safely home. Yes, Ante Juric, so pleased to have her on board. And I'm sure that we'll be seeing a lot of her into the future. Also works as a counsellor assisting Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander students, very proud of her heritage. Not unlike Jana Wyman, who also does that sort of work with Headspace, the outreach centre, and now we do see Toby charging up the field. Hawkesby. Police. Brush to Ibini. Is it on again for Ibini, but opportunity cut off by the Wanderers' defence. 18 Keane being very busy in her opening minutes on the pitch. The flag goes up, went up late, and Sydney FC was waiting a long time for it. Indeed, Hawkesby thought she might be on, had a look over to the sideline, and then thought, I'll give it a go. Oh, 10 minutes remaining in this opening Sydney derby for the season. There's actually another one in the not too distant future, such as the vagaries of the W League schedule. Wanderers failed to deal with that. It leaves it open for Ibini. Lowe was waiting, ready to go, and it all fizzles out a bit. So we've got another Wanderers player on the far side down. Is that Chauvet? No Margot Chevet, another one with cramp. Perhaps copped a knock, maybe overstretched. Teammates hustling in to help as assistance comes over. It's a little bit difficult with these teams for the W League, and it's such a short season, and it's as you said earlier, it is a sprint. It's not a marathon. 3 points everything in every match, and you know, with limited squads, going to be pushed.
Definitely so, definitely so. And in this case, a young player making a debut, there's a whole heap of nervous energy that's expended. This all contributes, and she's really put herself about today. We've spoken on a number of occasions about her debut performance, Margot Chevet, which has been very, very good. And despite the youth, which is clearly in evidence,
look at this for youth.
It's an exacting experience making your senior debut, something that Princess Abini did a number of years ago now. And she scored plenty of goals in that time, but I would say none as good as that one.
Yeah, that was an absolute belter from Princess Abini. You're right, she was such a young kid when she debuted with Sydney FC. We've got a few that have come through. Ante Juric mentioned that he had players that he'd seen and brought in as train-on players at around 14 years of age, and then only just able to deploy them now. Charlie Rule is one that we're going to see coming throughout the season. She's not in the squad today, and another promising one. We are looking at Generation Next, and Harps, I just wonder how many of these are we going to see featuring in 2023?
Well, that's the carrot that's dangled in front, including Princess Abini. Speaking of motivations, you just wonder if brother Bernie, who'll be playing for the arch enemy Red and Black in about an hour's time, if he's heard about the goal that his sister's scored, and if that's going to prompt him to greater exertions.
One wonders, of course, that derby coming up next in the A-League, Western Sydney against the New Boys MacArthur FC. I've seen Ante Milicic wandering around during the half-time break. His first stint as an A-League club coach, and well, that has dropped beautifully, and goes just wide of the post. So very close for Rachel Lowe to get on the board in her debut for Sydney FC.
Well, it was great space. She's very capable. Scored on debut as a UCLA Bruin against the Iowa State Cyclones, but couldn't do it here in the Sydney derby. Been strong off the bench, and this would have capped it nicely, but couldn't quite finish off.
Yeah, Rachel Lowe been energetic in her start here. She's one that does have a senior Matildas cap, called in as an injury replacement for Emily Gilnick on one occasion. I'm sure it's not the last time she'll be pulling that senior Matildas shirt on. Time ticking away here for the Wanderers to exact any revenge. And Sydney FC keeps coming forward. Nevin trying to get away from Hawkesby, who's been so effective in this match.
She's been outstanding, Hawkesby, and a very impressive Sydney cast.
Oh, it's a lovely ball through from Lowe. Toby trying desperately to get on the end of it, but Chevet recovered from the cramps that ailed her back on the park and in the way of the Sydney attack once more.
Well, there's Lowe now doing the dog work in midfield. Strong, very strong piece of play, and then feeding the substitute striker, Amira Toby. Quite come off. Good positive play. Ante Juric just at the bottom of the screen there. The Sydney coach will be really happy with this performance, I'm sure. He's been working for a number of years to make it an all-local cast at Sydney. He really wants, with the support of the club bosses, really wants to make Sydney evolve into a locals team, and COVID has brought that about a little quicker. And that's not to say that the foreigners haven't contributed mightily. You're thinking of Sophia Huerta, Audrey Bledsoe in goal. 2 or 3 others over the years have been outstanding, but Ante Juric will be really happy with the way this team and the youngsters he's brought through are adapting to have adapted to senior football, and he'll be backing them in seriously to challenge for the title here this year, particularly if his premonitions of Alira Toby come off. Liz Ralston's a number of weeks away, unfortunately, but their Wheeler comes back in a week or two. The team gets stronger with those additions. And they've been very, very good here today.
Yeah, you look at how well they're combining. I mean, you mentioned a couple of those names, but, you know, on top of that, they lost Alana Kennedy, Chloe Lagazzo, and Caitlin Ford, as well as Veronica Latsko.
Indeed. I mean, they're massive names.
Huge, but comporting themselves beautifully here. Toby through to Abini. Can Abini get another? Yes, she can. It's a brace for Princess Abini. Another beautiful finish into the roof of the net. 2 for Abini, that's 3 for Sydney FC. Well, just minutes left on the clock. Princess Abini looked up in acres of space, to be fair, and finished that such a beautiful fashion.
Well, Polias to Hawkesby. Beautiful pass to Toby. Reads this. The timing's magnificent. Both of the pass and the run from Princess Abini, who doubles down in the challenge to brother Bernie, as Sydney probably hit par here on performance. 3 goals clears, probably a par result. Clearly the dominant team, and Princess Abini right from the start today has been very difficult to handle.
The same margin as the round 12 clash of last season between these sides. That time it was Sydney FC at home at Cromer Park. We'll be doubly happy to get that result away here at the Wanderers. Work to do for Dean Heffernan and his side, but you just suspect they're going to grow throughout this season. So many new faces. We see a couple of late changes perhaps for Sydney FC, getting readied on the sideline. Courtney Nevin says that attack's not finished. It is now. As Tobin runs away. Angelique Christodoulou carrying a bit of back stiffness prior to this match, which is how Charlotte McLean came to be starting. And also Claudia Shalakian is ready to come on as well. She's another interesting one. She's been brought into the side for Liz Ralston, who Andy Harper mentioned just earlier, is still injured and out for a few weeks. Another Manly United attacker. Her brother also plays for Olympic, and I do believe that Ante Juric has brought him into his NPL side. So another family affair there. Find out who earns a break in just a moment, as Hawkesby is neatly dispossessed by Caitlin Cooper. Hasn't given up fighting. Rosie Galea ready for the throw, but first we'll see those substitutions for Sydney FC. It's Taylor Ray that makes way for Claudia Chalakian, and Angelique Christodoulou, or Christo, she's affectionately called here, goes on for Ali Green.
Yeah, well, the dad for many years was just Eric Rist in the NSL. Wonderful player and character in his own right. Very, very good player. Great football genetics. On show here, there's Auntie's first touch.
Well, that means both sides have emptied the bench, and wow, blow to the face.
The second touch is going to require attention.
Oh, welcome back, Christo.
The back is the least of the problems at the moment. Ouch.
Point blank range from the boot of Ellie Brush, bit of friendly fire.
Well, I'm not taking any chances if she's my player, straight off.
Not that it'll matter too much to Juric, but means he'll finish the match with 10 players. 4 minutes of time added on, we're told. You're right, Harps, that was a heck of a knock. Both benches empty. Katie Offer is the one remaining on the Sydney bench, the keeper brought in this season. And the aforementioned Sarah Willisey on the Western Sydney Wanderers bench. Not quite ready for action today, but Courtney Newbon, I think she's done well. Those goals would have been pretty tough to save.
Yeah, no, she's been very tidy in all the work she's had to do, very commanding in the penalty area, beaten by wonderful goals.
Yeah, Juric looks like a happy man, and so he should be. Angelique Christodoulou, after about, what would you say, 30 seconds on the pitch, makes her way off for a couple of minutes. Just the one touch before she's made her exit. Hopefully she's okay.
Clearly distressed, and that's a heavy knock to the head. It's one of the topics du jour, and I'd be taking no chances.
Sydney FC, of course, in action again on the weekend. And the Wanderers too. Very quick turnaround. This game was delayed, of course, due to the, well, it was the health regulations, wasn't it, as opposed to COVID per se. But with gathering discouraged. So Wanderers haven't given up yet. Gomez charging forward. Cleared for the moment. But this match was supposed to be on Sunday, as it's now on the Wednesday. There's a very quick turnaround for all these players. Could be a last chance in the dying minutes. Georgia, I beg your pardon, Libby Copus-Brown. Too many hyphenated names to affect something. Wasn't to be at that time.
Well, they're running it out bravely, the Wanderers. Outpointed clearly here today, but they're running it to the clock with real commitment.
Ball up, plenty of heads. Wyman's out of her. I can't even string a sentence together anymore, Andy. Wyman off her line. Wasn't able to do anything about that. It managed to avoid the danger. Back into play for the Wanderers. Nevin hasn't stopped running all game. Oh, lovely crossover, but it's only met by Ellie Brush.
Well, fitting that Courtney Nevin would deliver quality so deep in the game. She's been one of the Wanderers' best down the left-hand side.
Wanderers determined to go down fighting. Well, that one's hooked in high and a little bit wide of Jada Wyman's goal. Wyman in no hurry whatsoever to go and retrieve. Bit of a hit and hope for Aideen Keane. It's been great to see the confidence of these young players, happy to have a crack. Best way to learn. Sydney FC thought they had possession there. And the Wanderers that play out these final few seconds of this Sydney derby. Could drop awkwardly for it. Oh, looked like almost an own goal there. That was not the way that Sydney FC would have wanted to finish that match. Dangerous moments, and sky blue shirts streaming back as they prepare to defend. Short corner as it happens. Chloe Middleton out to Copus-Brown. Looks it back in. Headed away by Ellie Brush. Ever reliable. Still on for the Western Sydney Wanderers. Just moments left on the clock. Caitlin Cooper has a crack, and that one is straight into the hands of the Sydney FC goalkeeper.
Well, a goal would have been fitting encouragement for the Wanderers, given the effort they've put into this game. And there's still time for that, of course.
Middleton gets it forward. Keane. Beanie says, no thank you. And Sydney FC do indeed keep their clean sheet. A wonderful display from the sky blue side of town to take out the 17th Sydney derby. And fantastic goals they were too on 26 minutes. It was Courtney Vine that opened the scoring against her old teammates. Princess Abini with an absolute cracker on 60 minutes, followed it up almost half an hour later with another to give herself a brace for today. Wonderful display from the Sky Blue to open their campaign full-time here in Parramatta.